Hello and welcome back to Kitchen Voyeur. This is Whole Cooking with Evan Hendricks, and he's going to show us how to break down a chicken today. Why would we want to do that?
Well, there's a couple of reasons you're going to want to break down a chicken. The first reason, and I think just should make it clear to everyone why we should do this, is it's about 300% cheaper to buy a whole chicken versus buying a tray of chicken thighs or a couple of chicken breasts. They mark it up so much every time the butcher has to process the chicken. So to buy it whole like this is much more economical. The other reason I really love buying a whole chicken is that you get all the chicken parts with it. So before we've even started processing the chicken here at home, you'll see we already have a chicken neck, we have a chicken liver, and so these are extra pieces that get thrown in, and we'll also end up pulling out of the carcass some other pieces that we can later use to make our own homemade chicken stock. And again, saving a little bit of money, adding a little bit more flavor, a little bit more control over the whole process. So those are my two main reasons for buying a whole chicken.
I like them. More is more.
More is more.
So how's it done?
Pretty easy, really. I know this looks a little daunting, but I tell people how I learned was if you just pick up any extremity of the chicken, so we'll start with the wing here, you pick it up, and wherever the tension point's at, wherever you can see the skin pulling taut, that's where we want to enter with our knife. So we take our knife, make sure it's sharp, it's well honed, and we're just going to slice right through that joint, give it a little bit of a pop, and a lot of times you'll hear that crack, and we're going to go right down through that joint.
This comes right off.
Comes right off, that easy. So we'll go ahead and break off both of our wings real quick, and again, pick up the chicken a little bit, wherever it's taut. That's where we'll slice through, give it a little bit of a pop, and then right through. So now we have our chicken wing off the chicken. We want to go ahead and take this wing tip off. This is mostly just cartilage here. Not a lot of good eats, but a lot of good flavor that will be great for our stock. So again, we just go right down through the joint, goes in our little stock bowl. Now we have our drum, our drumette, and then our wing. Same thing here, we're going to take off our wing tip. And really, when you go down through that joint, a lot of times you can feel it with your finger, that little separation, kind of like you feel on your own elbow.
Yeah, when you hit it right, it just goes right through.
Yeah, you really don't have to apply it. I'm not applying hardly any pressure there,
Yeah.
and it just slices right through the joint. So there we have our two drumettes, our two wing tips. Now we want to take off the thigh and the drum. Again, we're just going to pick up our chicken, and wherever the skin is taut, that's where we're going to slice. Now this is one of the key pieces I really like to point out for people. A lot of people just kind of go right down through this spot here, but you'll notice there's a little piece of meat that kind of chunks up right there. That's the oyster of the chicken is what we call it. And it's kind of like the filet mignon of the chicken. So we want to take our knife right down along the back and make sure we get that little tender piece of dark meat there. Really tasty. And then slice straight down. We'll go ahead and take off both. Again, wherever it's taut, that's where we want to slice. Again, right across the back, you can really see us get that oyster there, and you'll hear that popping through the joint, slice straight down. So now that we have our legs off, we want to split our thigh and our drum. So again, we're going to go right down in between. You can see that line right there. We're going right down through it.
So easy.
Very little pressure. Again, that line, we're going to go right down through it. Drum, thigh, and you'll notice these are relatively the same size. So if we want to cook those at the same time, they'll cook at the same rate. Now we have our chicken back is still attached to our chicken breasts. Okay, and we want to separate those out. And you'll notice throughout this whole process, I really like keeping the chicken on the bone. It does a couple of things. It's going to add some moisture, it's going to add some juiciness, but it adds a lot of flavor to keep the chicken on the bone. So we'll hit ribs here, and this is where you can kind of give a little aggression out and just kind of hack right down through that rib cage. And then we're going to pop a little bit, slice down through the joint again. Same thing on this side, down through the skin, pop the joint a little bit. And we can sometimes even give it a little pressure. But we have our chicken back here. Most people would just discard this. If you buy parts in the store, you don't get this. We're going to go ahead and utilize this to make some stock later on. Now we have our two breasts still attached to the breastbone. We're going to put our knife right down the center line, and then with the heel of our hand, just give it a little pop, slice down through, one more pop. Now we have two chicken breasts on the bone, skin on, lots of flavor, but you'll notice about twice the size of other pieces. So to get that the same size, we're just going to have them right down through the middle.
And that's so they'll all cook the same rate.
That's so they'll all cook the same rate. If you want to cook them separately, this is not something that is necessary. A lot of times I like roasting a whole bird off, shred the chicken. You can do a lot of different things with it. Throw it in soup, throw it in a stir fry, whatnot. But there we have a whole chicken broken down. Chicken breasts, chicken thighs, chicken drums, and then our little wing tips and drumettes, and then the rest of the carcass that we can use to make stock later on. And if you want to go one step further, you can always take your chicken skin and peel it off and keep a separate bowl for chicken skin, and you can end up making schmaltz out of that, which we'll talk about in a later episode. But it's a beautiful animal fat that we can use as a cooking medium in just about anything.
So there you have it, how to break down a chicken. Zip zap, see that? Nothing flat. Just cut along the areas of stress and along the joints, and you've got it, and you have saved money. You have you've respected the animal because you're using all of it, and you've got a great product here, and all these other things you can make.
How much time did that take us?
It did not take us very long, and because we were talking so much, it would have gone even faster again. So that's it. That's it for this episode of Kitchen Voyeur. Tune in next time. We'll have more tips and tricks for you around the corner.